Hi guys, happy Tuesday. Here we are for our guided reading lesson for today. So I asked you yesterday to look for the main idea of the early years section. So the main idea that I found, what I feel the main idea is the whole section talked about the early 1700s and what life was like for them. And what I discovered is that in my reading is that it mostly talked about how Abigail is a smart and hardworking girl or a woman. And what my supporting details were is that it talked about here that she did not go to school. Her mother taught her. She learned how to read and write. It even states here she's a smart girl who loved to read. It says that she learned about the world reading with her father. And then when she was a little older, she helped them with the farm. And she eventually, when she got married, she continued to work the farm and take care of managing the money for the house because her husband was busy working as a lawyer. So that's what brought me to my main idea that Abigail was a smart and hardworking woman. That's the main idea of this particular section. So another thing I wanted y'all to look at going through our reading is I noticed in here there was up here I wrote for you guys consonant digraph sh, the sh, and it says sh. So if you look here, I am going to first look through my reading and I'm going to circle words that I see that have that sh digraph on it. Okay, so I found these three. I think that's all. So the sh, the consonant digraph sh, makes the sh sound. And that's how we know that this is pronounced she. This one here, if we had just ape, ape, without the sh, it would just be ape. You add that sh and we know it's sh, ape, shape. We have up here I wrote showed. The sh together says sh-owed. Let's see, let's look at some other words. If I were to write let's see, if I were to write A-R-E, I know that I can put an S-H in front of it and make the word share. I could put O-U-T, out. If you add your S-H, you have shout. So you should be saying it with me. The SH, the consonant digraph SH, says shh. So let's look on a couple of other pages and see if we can find that digraph SH. I see one here. That's another she. Let's see. Here it is again. And again. Now I want you to understand too that it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the word to still be the consonant digraph SH. It can be a word like wish. Or brush. There's also lash. So as you're reading, you can look for words that have this consonant digraph SH. So for our next lesson, we're going to be looking at the second part of the book, War with Great Britain. You're going to read pages 8 through 11. I want you to read this section, and I want you to look for what the main idea of this section is. So I know I mentioned the other day about what we call these words underneath pictures. These are captions, and they are put there to help us clarify what the picture is telling us. So this one here, we can tell this is a picture of a house, but we don't know whose house it is. So then they give you the caption so that you know this is Abigail and John Adams farmhouse in Massachusetts. It's part of the Adams National Historical Park. Pictures and photographs are there in place to help us understand and get a better picture in our minds of what the story is about. So when you're reading this next section, I want you to look for words that have this SH digraph in them. I want you to be looking for what the main idea is of the section. And this is going to be your assignment. I want this question to be answered for this last section that we read. How did Abigail learn when she didn't attend school? So I want you to look over this section and give me a complete sentence answering this question. And then we will meet again on Wednesday and go over this last section that you read. Talk to you later, guys. Have a good evening.